welcome back to the GSTL, and so far so good here for Axiom-Acer, only dropping a single map, and it's really up to center right now to shine, I feel, for AZUBU. Even if he loses, they still have a chance, but this is a really pivotal game.
Yeah, it definitely is, because if they go down right now, then they will be at 3-1. Axiom-Acer will be in a 3-1 lead, so for Senna it's really important to win the game. Mekia Impact, as you can see, he was able to take it against Vines in the last match. It was really an interesting game we had there, and the first fungal that we actually saw in the game against the Ground Army, that was kind of the winning move for him. Trapping 2 of those Colossi and Immortals, that was really important to win the major battle and then the fight.
Yeah, I actually think I have to get one of these keyboards. Like, every time I see Alicia's keyboard especially, I'm like, I'm just entranced by it. I don't have a 10 keyless keyboard currently. I gave my last one away, actually.
Yeah, I still have Stefano's old keyboard at home, but I'm not using it. It's one of the starter keyboards still. Also because it still has Hangul letters, so that's really important kind of.
Well, Frost is the map. I've said it like a million times now, but I think it's my favorite map right now in the pool. Really, really exciting map a lot of the time, especially for Frost versus Zerg. Frost versus Terran, it doesn't. Those bridges of doom, bridges of death, whatever we decide to call them, actually don't come into play all too often, but they certainly could.
And Alicia was already successful against Senna. That was also in the GSTL Season 2. It was, of course, in the Round 1, where we had the all-kill format. And Senna, he wants to have revenge for that match back then and bring his team once again back to 2 points. Tie the score up again here at the GSTL Season 2 2013 Round 2. Axiom-Acer going up against Team AZUBU, and Alicia is faced with Senna once again. Let's see who can take that. The second game between the two of them this season. Is it going to be Alicia? Is it going to be Senna? We're going to find out right now here in Frost at the GSTL with Color Wolf. The bottom left of Frost, we have the Axiom-Acer player, the Protoss in red. It is
Axiom-Acer.
Alicia, 22 map wins and 15 map losses in Heart of the Swarm offline against Terran. Leaves him with roughly a 60% win ratio. And he's faced against Terran player at the bottom right. Former TSL player, now for Team AZUBU.
AZUBU, center.
Center has 13 map wins and 4 map losses offline in Heart of the Swarm against Protoss, which leaves him with a 76% win ratio. But a lot of these matches were against foreign players. If you only look at the matches against the Koreans, he's roughly at 50-50, a little bit more on the positive, but he also lost against Alicia just recently in the first round of Season 2 here at the GSTL. So it's a bit of a grudge match between the two of them now.
Yeah. On a 4-player map, Center's build is probably the most standard. He's probably going to get 1 Reaper into a reactor on his commands, on his barracks and start a command center. And we have horizontal spawns, so that means that it's going to be one of those maps where it's basically like Clash of the Titans, like both players fighting each other in the center, big battles, constant aggression. Not the late game necessarily where we have cross spawns and then Colossi and Storm come out and maybe there's like an SCV pull right before 3-3 is done, but this could be a really exciting game. This map, when faced at horizontal spawns in this matchup, plays out almost like Newkirk back in the old days, and that bridge sometimes can come into play. It cuts down the rush distance to the third base a little bit, and Colossi and Storms could be really good there, and so can Terran Concaves on the other side against Charge Zealots, but we probably won't see engagements happen on that bridge.
With the scouting center, with the counterclockwise scouting path, it is a little bit unlucky. He's going to scout his opponent quite late in the game. The Reaper is, of course, then going to head out and find out what's going on here. But the SCV is going to have a little bit of wasted time here. Expansion, of course, being built here right at the mineral line. Doesn't build in the main base to float it down. But Alicia has shown against Center already that he can be really aggressive in this particular matchup. So it's something where the Terran player has to be a little bit careful.
Yeah. He actually pulls all out of gas, which will give him either a faster additional barracks or a third CC, and it looks like it's going to be barracks first here. And Reaper gets denied, but knows exactly what's going on. Doesn't actually get a whole lot of information because he scouted a little bit later. He doesn't know where the third pylon is, for example, but at least he knows there's a Nexus there.
Senna before the match was actually talking to the former TSL coach and also to Hyun a little bit about the matchup and about just the style of Alicia. It was really interesting to see that they were conversing and just trying to give him a few tips of what he could do or what he has to be careful about. But right now, of course, he's focused on the match here, and I'm really interested to see what kind of late game plans Senna has for this match.
Yeah, same. It does not look like he wants to be extremely aggressive early. He's only going up into 2 barracks here, puts back into gas, so he's going to have a slightly faster tech, but not as many Marines out to pressure. Which in close positions, sometimes you want to poke at the front, make that overcharge get used, and then when your medevacs come in, you're a little bit stronger.
And talking about pressure, we also don't have Alicia going into a really super aggressive build here. He currently is building his first Forge, and that will give him access, of course, to the upgrades. So already indicating that he wants to prolong the match a little bit and not really rush out anything. But it's not going to be spotted here. Reaper gets into the main base and sees kind of everything, even escapes. Wow, nice. He sees everything. I was actually thinking that at least the pros will be able to take him out. But no, he gets to see the second gas as well and how much was mined so far. So there's nothing hidden from the Terran player.
Yeah, and that's great for Senna right now. So he can say to himself, okay, you're not going to have an Observer on my base anytime soon. I know you don't have a Robo. You're not attacking me with Immortals. You're not going for a gateway timing. All I need to do is sit back and relax. I can pressure you a little bit because you don't have any really good powered up gateways yet. And also, I could, if I wanted to, take a third base and be fine. One lone Marauder tagging along in the back, the slow runner. If they were doing an Indian run, he'd have some trouble.
Yeah, Marauders are a little bit fat. They need to get rid of all that excess body fat that they have.
Yeah. Ooh, look at this. Quick Twilight Council follow-up. That's something that Senna's not going to necessarily expect this early.
Yeah. Senna, on the other hand, with those Marines and the Marauder, shouldn't be able to do anything. Oh, he might be able to take down the Stalker. Concussive Shell coming into play. But of course, with a Photon Overcharge, there should not be a lot that he can actually do against the Nexus itself. Nice bait out here, only one single shot getting up.
Yeah, and he kills a Stalker, and actually that's like totally worth it for one Marauder easily. Or rather, for that unit group they sent out.
That's a lot more than the Marines and the Marauders in the early game can usually accomplish. Most of the time you just see them moving into the natural, then the Photon Overcharge goes off.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, the cannon in the main base here, looks redundant considering, but it's just in case of Widowmines, because you had a late Robo, and you always want to have detection in your main base against that. The Widowmine's never going to get into your mineral line at the natural without you noticing, but it could be in the main base, so you got to have that detection, that cannon there.
Of course, you would like to skip on that, but it can also help you in the late game. If there's a drop in the main base, it will at least delay a little bit, so that gives you extra time to just make sure you can get your army there to defend. And it might protect a few of your probes. So, of course, you would like to skim over there a little bit, but it's not a complete waste.
2 Widow Mines being made. I wonder what that's going to end up being for. He could just drop them into the main base, but the thing is, he hasn't seen the cannon, so he might think, okay, this could be a good opportunity. Could also be a defensive measure.
For the Protoss player, we have Charge coming in as well as the Templar Archive and the +2 armor upgrade already. Looks like we're going to see Charge lots and a lot of Archons here with this push, and that could be really devastating for Center. That +2 armor upgrade would be really good for the Protoss.
No additional probes as well, and he's adding the gateways, so he's really going to hit this timing. This is something that we talked about before. Alicia can be very aggressive. Those are the Widow Mines. And that cannon is actually, we talked about it, it's perfect for this.
That shouldn't do too much. With the cannon in the main base and of course all the units already at the top of the ramp, I don't see the medevac doing too much with those Widow Mines. And the Phoenix is even going to spot that right when they afterburn in the main base. The rest of the army is moving in, but we have the Bioforce at the front. Here comes the Photon Overcharge. Widow Mine. Does he see it? Is it in range? Second one is already there.
He wastes a charge there. I'm a little bit surprised Center did not try to multitask and try to pressure at the front while he was doing that.
Yeah, he could have tried to snipe the Nexus.
Yeah, I mean, he could have at least killed some pylons.
I think he was a little bit anxious that he would run into force fields.
Well, now he's got a pretty good angle here, and there's no overcharge. The Widow Mine on the high ground actually could do some damage as well, depending on how the Protoss army hits, and it will do bonus damage to Archons, because it does do more to shields.
Run, Forest,
Whoa, run. That was scary. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Actually, it only did the 40 splash to the Archon. It must have like hit the Templar as it was morphing, literally, so it only did the splash to the Archon. That's really interesting.
It was really close. He's trying to chase down the rest of the Terran army on the other hand. Here comes the Stim once more, going for the Solar Step, trying to kite those Zealots. They have no charge anymore. Here comes the rest of the army, by the way, but he's not dropping. He's just lifting off everything that he can and trying to get into the main base once more.
Yeah, he needs another warp in into the main. Uh-oh, that Archon is actually just going to eat a shot. That was really weird. That Archon loves getting hit by the Widowmine for some reason. Storm is almost done. He has enough for feedbacks here. Feedbacks both medevacs, and that's going to be about it for that drop. And this is what you were talking about earlier with how the armor upgrade can be so fearsome against a Protoss. This is a small Terran push. And some of the micro we saw from Alicia was arguably questionable. He was shooting at the factory a lot with some of his anti-air units. I feel like he could have chased the medevacs down a little bit faster even. Oh, nice. He might even delay that command center.
Yeah, that pylon to the right side of the map really coming into play now. Not able to delay it. He's a little bit unlucky with the timing. The command center has lifted immediately, but now the rest of the army for Alicia is already moving out while he's taking his own third base.
Main base for Alicia, though, under attack, and I don't think he has any warp-ins. He has to use the overcharge, and that's all he's got. Unpowers 3 gateways.
The Atosis pylon goes down, everything unpowered. Not a lot that he can do about that now. Needs to get that pylon into the picture once again so that he has the production available.
Yeah, that Widowmine is still lurking around. Factory goes down. I'm pretty sure he already had the armory, so yeah, the armory finishes, so not a big deal here.
Armory has been started, so that's not going to be a big problem for him. In terms of army supply, we still have the Terran player a bit ahead with 70 to 60, and dropping into the main base once more.
Yeah, I like... well, first of all, I like this Widowmine a lot that keeps getting these annoying shots off, but I like the composition for Alicia, but he's just out of position. He spreads himself too thin.
Yeah, that is actually one of the strengths that Sender is currently playing. He takes down that Nexus, he has another army in the main base. He's just trying to make that mobility work in his advantage and doing a decent job at that. Once more, we have the Zealots for Alicia trying to be as annoying as possible at the third base for Senna. But with good unit control, Senna is able to take down most of the Zealots.
Yeah, but I'm really worrying for Senna's third base now against this many Archons plus the Templar here. A little bit more of drop action going on now. Looks like towards the natural, but can he actually save the third? These Zealots seem to turn around, on the other hand. Does not want to waste them up at the top of that ramp. Does he have enough energy for overcharge? I don't think so. Oh, he's going to actually try to push it up the ramp. He has a lot of storms to back this up. There are a few bunkers on the other hand.
Uh-oh, everything is clustered up with storms. He could destroy everything. Here
and there he goes!
Hits home and takes down everything.
Everything is gone, and he kills so many of the hit points on the medevacs as well. The bunkers, will they fall? A few Archons here. The repair is still good. There's still enough SCVs with the hit points being regenerated by the medevacs. He actually holds.
He holds, and he lost a lot of harvesters in the process. That's his biggest problem, but in terms of army size, the Terran player is still ahead of the Protoss. Alicia lost a lot there against those bunkers. He didn't have enough Storm to hit the second wave of SCVs that were coming in. Now finally that Widowmine is taken out, takes down another Zealot in the process.
Yeah, I'm really liking Alicia's position though, tech-wise. There's only one Ghost on the map. He's going to need a lot more than that. And the scary thing is a robotics base should be on the way at any second to transition into those Colossi, and he doesn't have the ability to add additional starports right now. He lost so many medevacs. He hasn't made a factory yet, so he's going to be stuck on one starport for probably potentially the rest of the game.
Yeah, the third base could really help Alicia a lot here, but as it is, for the time being, Senna with a better income thanks to the mules that he's currently controlling. 4 at a time, but the control of the map is really in Alicia's favor. He still has those hallucinated phoenixes that will scout everything that's going on in the Terran player space. But Senna is trying to stabilize again and putting down that command center, and always, of course, in a position where he can be dangerous with the drop in the main base.
Oh, wow. He's not paying attention here. He's paying attention to the drop that's going across the south.
There's nothing to rescue those units. One medevac is just not going to be enough.
3 medevacs are going to the south, as I talked about before, and there's not a whole lot of answer. He does spot them, but he's not paying attention right now. Zealots, on the other hand, doing some damage here at the third base, going to kill a lot of FCVs, force a lift. The Archons join the fight as well, but the drop in the main base, can Alicia deal with that?
He needs to warp something in. Here comes the Storm, and he needs it. But we have a snipe on the Nexus. He's trying to take that down, and he has a lot of DPS here that he can use against it. But with the warp-in round that we saw, Alicia is able to protect his base. All those Zealots forcing the Bioforces back at the same time. The Protoss player is charging in again, and they're trying to move back to Force Field, preventing it for now. No Storm, just yet. The Archon getting its shots in, and a drop at the third base on Alicia. Both players just at each other's throat right now.
EMP was really good, but it looks like Alicia's army is too much here. He defends his main base. He goes for the attack at the natural. The third base has already been forced to lift yet again. And it looks like this is about it for center. He's got 2 Marauders. And that's all he's got here in the bunker. SCV is looking a little bit silly. They don't even have enough minerals to repair.
Senna is losing so much. 36 Harvest is already killed by Alicia. Senna is down to 28. SCV's against 66 of his opponent. And Alicia is nearly doubling his supply. Now an additional round of Zealots is already moving in from every single angle. Units all over the map trying to just put an end to the Terran player. Going into the natural once more. Those drops that we saw for Senna, they just don't do enough. He's dancing
the Zealots! And I mean, the high ground advantage goes to center, but for how long? The Zealot count is just too high.
28 of them. This looks a little bit like he has Zerglings at his disposal right now, charging in from every single angle.
Storm!
Oh my god.
Is there any question if this game is over? Stop asking, because it definitely is. Archon's morphing here.
Oh my god, even more units streaming in right now. Axiom-Acer takes another game. GG. That is the 3-1 lead for the team against AZUBU.
There were some shaky moments for Alicia in that game for sure, but it really came down to his harassment, his multitasking against the drops, and just his ability to control the map against all odds. Despite the fact that Center always had a bigger army, Alicia had enough units at home or enough warfins at home with the spotters, with the phoenixes and the observers, and he had those ready, so you didn't have to worry about microing that. What he was worried about microing was his Archons and his Zealots and his Storms against the Terran army that was constantly trying to pressure him.
Yeah. Alicia with a victory, definitely bringing his team into a lead. But then, of course, it must be a little bit frustrating. He had a couple of really good moments in the game, but in the end, he goes down again against Alicia, which leaves Alicia with a 2-0 versus Senna in total this GSTL season.
Senna looking pretty crushed here. You know, it's tough for a player like Senna to really make a name for himself right now in Korea, and just coming out and losing it, it's rough, it's painful, and it's just so hard to deal with a Protoss composition. If the Protoss gets that forward drop and the upgrades start to run away, you know, you get the Storm out, you defend the drops, the Terran player starts to feel a little bit desperate, you know, wondering what can I even do against this.
And talking about Terran players, we have a TVT coming up next, if I'm not mistaken, with the match order. That would be Ryung versus Supernova,
yeah.
So that should be quite the interesting match, especially since Supernova, I think the last time I saw him, wasn't that against Bomber?
Yes, I believe you're correct, and I think he won it.
Yeah, against Bomber he won. That was like the ace match that they had. I'm not quite sure if that was really the last match that we saw him in the GSTL, but it was definitely one of the most memorable ones.
Yeah.
That was at the end of the first round of the GSTL, I believe. But yeah, this game could decide everything. Ryung has said before the season started that he once again wants to get the crown in the individual rankings. Looks pretty unlikely this time.
Yeah.
Innovation
he just took his win.
Too good. But at the same time, Ryung, of course, just tries to get a couple of wins in here for his team. So he will be really interested in finally getting another victory.
We will be having another, you know, all-kill round later on in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And it looks like Axiom-Acer is pretty much going there. So
I mean, at this point, they are definitely having quite the showing here. They defeat every single team, and I don't think anyone can stop them if they continue down this path.
I mean, honestly, it just looks like Axiom-Acer right now is the most dominant GSTL team we have ever had.
The problem is also that suddenly they have the Zerg player in here, and he did quite well and won his match against Mines. Of course, you have to meet much stronger players later down the road, but at the same time, seeing Impact do well gives them a lot of options, because that was one of the biggest weaknesses that Axiom-Acer had, that they were only relying on Terran and Protoss.
Yeah. And now they have that, you know, it's only one Zerg, but that adds a whole third dimension of depth to their team. Just even the one Zerg that they've got there. So.
Especially when we go back to the all-kill format, where you always have to think about, okay, who could snipe this guy? Do we have someone who is really good against Zerg that we have to save for later? So this is definitely something that other teams have to deal with right now, and that makes Axiom-Acer even more scary than they already are.
Yeah, certainly so. So Terran versus Terran here coming up. Ryung has shown great TVT in the past, and oftentimes makes great comebacks even in TVT when he's behind. So I could see him taking this one, but Supernova as well is looking like really strong for AZUBU this season.
Supernova also the player that we would expect to come out as the ace player again if need be, if it comes to that. But for that to happen, two players for AZUBU have to win their matches right now. And the first one is, of course, going to be Supernova. He's up against this handsome fella in the booth. Ryung, the Terran player for Axiom-Acer.
Yeah. Ryung, you know, if you look at him in the booth right now, he doesn't look it, but he is one of the biggest jokers, biggest trolls, one of the flashiest players you'll ever meet in real life. And he's fun. He's kind, he's smart, and he's a great Terran versus Terran player.
Yep. Also decent football player.
Yes. I heard he's good at FIFA as well.
That I don't know. I only played football, aka soccer, with him. I have no idea how good he actually is at FIFA.
FIFA quite popular in Korea. FIFA Online, I think, like ranked number 3 in PC bongs in Korea right now.
Really?
Yeah. He's actually like, he looks really exhausted all day today, and that may actually affect his play. Supernova is usually the one who looks tired, but today he's rocking, like, is that cashmere? Like,
I don't know what to say. That looks very, very interesting. This is like one of those things that you wear when you're going to a grandma.
Yeah, that's one of the sweaters where it's like, is that Thanksgiving dinner?
Yeah.
It looks like it might be. I mean, actually, I think he pulls it off quite well. It's just the t-shirt underneath that's a little bit odd with it.
He definitely does, but it's just like so unexpected, you know? And it's something that I definitely did not really... I don't know, it's just weird. Like, it's absolutely unexpected to see something like this in the booth. It's not like it looks bad on him or anything. I think it looks actually good, but it looks very... I don't know, I'm liking the words. It looks very like... Yeah, very like, yeah, hi grandma, how are you doing? I miss you too.
Yeah. Honestly, this match could really go either way. Last year, I would have said Ryung 100%. This year, I'm not sure. Like right now, especially.
To be quite honest, Supernova is just from a statistical point of view so much better in the matchup than Ryung is. Supernova has a 77% win ratio against Terrans. 77%. Ryung is actually only at 50%.
Yeah, not as good as he used to be in the old Wings of Liberty days in TVT.
So Supernova definitely the favorite here. Today is showing us he's pulling over Mama's boy, but he's definitely a scary opponent, and especially in the Terran versus Terran. This is like his best matchup, and he's playing against an Axiom player on Yonsu right now. If Ryung, on the other hand, wins this, then it's all over already.
Yeah, and I would not be surprised to see Ryung hit a timing attack, try to be aggressive, try to end the game early against a player who's so experienced in late game. Supernova just crushes in TVT sometimes. If he gets even one little edge, he is going to run with it. Whether it's with Banshees, Hellions, Marine Pressure.
Whatever it is, we'll find out right now. We're jumping into the game. We have Senna, sorry, not Senna, but Supernova going up against Ryung here at the GSTL Season 2, Round 2, 2013.